A very good afternoon to you and welcome to Lunchtime News. Come to you live and direct from the Newsfirst Centre here in Colombo. I'm Florine Rajendran. Before going to the stories in detail, here's a look at the headlines. Former Minister Johnston Fernando further remanded till the 11th of May. Meeting between President Sirisena and former President Rajapaksa to be held later this afternoon. Crowds remained till early this morning at the Sirisena Kalapaya. Bollywood star Salman Khan found guilty in a hit-and-run case. Moving into those stories in detail now, former Minister Johnston Fernando has been further remanded until the 11th of this month. The former minister was remanded after he was produced before the Kurunegala magistrate this morning. Former Minister Johnston Fernando, who was arrested by the Police Financial Crimes Investigation Division yesterday, was remanded until today. The former minister was arrested on charges of misuse of state property. Johnston Fernando was ordered to be further remanded until the 11th of this month after being produced before the Kurunegala magistrate this morning. President Maithripala Sirisena says the new government will take every possible step to strengthen national security. He made this statement at an event held at the Sir John Kuthalawala Defence University.
The event to declare open the southern branch of the Sir John Kuthalawala Defence University was held last evening. In all my meetings with foreign heads of state, when I went abroad after being elected president, and in all my meetings with foreign heads of state and diplomats here in Sri Lanka, I spoke with them about the resources of our defence forces. All the heads of state agreed to do something to improve the training of our forces. Just as my agreement, I will take every possible step to improve the Kuthalawala Defence University. We will also take every possible step to strengthen national security.
ජාතික ආරක්ෂාව ශක්තිමත් කිරීම සඳහා අපි නව රජයේ විදියට ගත හැකි ගත යුතු සෑම පියවරක්ම ගන්නා බව ප්‍රකාශ කරමි.
President Maithripala Sirisena also presided over an event held at St. John's College in Nugegoda yesterday. The President presented awards at the event to students who won the art competition held parallel to the 100th anniversary of the college.
සාමාන්‍යයෙන් පාසලක් තියෙනකොට ගමක නගරයක ගමක නම් ඒ ගමේ නම තමයි ඒ පාසලට වෙන්න ඕනේ.
Usually when there is a school, be it in a village or in a town, you should go to that school. As the President, I am opposed to the concept of putting up signboards labeling schools as Sinhalese, Muslim or Tamil schools. Within the free education system, schools cannot be divided based on the language that is spoken. In today's complex society, when it comes to concepts like human rights, fundamental rights, freedom, democracy and free education, there can be no division. The children at the school need resources more than they need signboards. It is the policy of the new government that regardless of what the name of the school is or the language that is spoken, the 3.9 million children who are learning at over 10,000 schools must receive equal education.
ලක්ෂ 39කට ආසන්න දරුවන් සඳහා සමාන අධ්‍යාපනයක් දීම.
On to headline making news, the Presidential Media Unit says that the meeting between President Maithripala Sirisena and the former President Mahinda Rajapaksa is scheduled to be held at the Parliamentary Complex later this afternoon. It added that the meeting will be held at 1:30 this afternoon. Issuing a communique, the Presidential Media Unit noted that it was customary to grant a meeting with the President if so requested by an individual or organisation. The communique reads that the meeting will focus on strengthening the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, adding that no discussions will take place with relation to the activities undertaken by the government. The communique goes on to say that President Maithripala Sirisena rejects various libellous comments made by certain individuals in this regard. It adds that it is conventional for the President to engage in such discussions as the chairman of the SLFP and that the meeting will uphold the faith of the almost 6.3 million people who voted for President Sirisena at the elections on the 8th of January. Activities to take the sacred Sarvanya relics, the Agrashravaka relics and the relics of the Arhants, which were worshipped by thousands of devotees at the Sirisena Kalapaya organized by the Capital Maharaja Organization Limited and John Keel's Holdings back to their respective viharas, commenced this afternoon. Special religious observances conducted by the Mahasangha was held for the sacred relics during the early hours of this morning. A large group of devotees had arrived at the premises of the head office of the MTV networks in order to attend the religious observances.
We conducted this initiative systematically and in good faith. I would like to remind all the devotees who got the opportunity to pay homage to the relics to embrace satisfaction and happiness. Also, all those who wish to pay homage to the sacred relics could pay homage at the Mahabodhi Agra Shavaka Viharaya.
Following the religious observances, senior officials of the Capital Maharaj Organization and John Keels Holdings placed the sacred relics of Arhant Sariputta and Mughal Lana inside the special vehicular envoy to be transported back to the Viharaya. The relics were then transported by a special vehicular procession to the Maliga Kanda Agrashravaka Mahaviharaya in Colombo. The sacred hair relics and the relics of the Arhants, which were brought to the Sirasa zone from the Yatialagala Raja Mahaviharaya in Kandy, commenced their return journey this morning. Following special religious observances held today, the sacred relics were placed in the special vehicular convoy for the return journey. Countless devotees flocked to the Sirasa Kalape yesterday as well on the third and final day. The Sirasa Kalape, organized by the Capital Maharaj Organization Limited together with John Keels Holdings PLC, was held over 3 days at the environs of the MTV Embassy head office. While devotees flocked in their hundreds of thousands to the Vesak zone, the digital telethorina and the artistic lanterns captured the hearts of many. A rice dancer was held for devotees visiting the zone, while the Bhakti Geet performances, which featured several artists, also captured the hearts of visitors to the Vesak zone. Devotees remained in queue until about 2 a.m. this morning for the opportunity to pay homage to the sacred relics of Lord Buddha and the relics of the Arhants.
Brick by brick, our hearts become one. The Run Bhumi Rally for Unity. 8 May, 9 a.m. Thale Manna, 12 p.m. Mana, 4 p.m. Madhu, 9th May, 9 a.m. Purasankulam, 12 p.m. Vaunia, 4 p.m. Mankulam, 10th May, 9 a.m. Kilinochi, 12 p.m. Punari, 4 p.m. Jaffna. Join us now for the nation's biggest rally.
Former director of the UNESCO International Programme of Development Communication, Vijayananda Jayavira, says that democratic governance cannot function without press freedom. He made this statement while addressing a media briefing convened by the Free Media Association in line with World Press Freedom Day.
With the sovereignty that we have, we appointed a government through an election. Elections are a part of sovereignty. Although we appoint a government once in every 5 years, we must constantly be in an agreement with the government. We need information in order to keep the agreement going. And if there is a certain level of asymmetry in that information, in the sense if we do not know what the government is doing, then it becomes difficult to stay in that agreement as citizens. Then the media intervenes to wipe out that asymmetry in the information. On top of that, democracy and democratic governance cannot function without press freedom.
The Kilinochchi Regional Office of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka was declared open by Minister of Resettlement, Reconstruction and Indo-Religious Affairs D.M. Swaminathan today. A group including Deputy Minister of Policy Planning and Economic Affairs Dr. Harsha De Silva, Governor of the Central Bank Arjuna Mahendran and parliamentarians were present for this occasion. The victim of an alleged assault by the police is being treated at the Avisavala base hospital. The injured young man was at Dhansala the day after Vesak Poya Day. Two men claiming to be police officers had taken the youth away from there, citing that they needed to inquire into a complaint. It had been reported that the young man's girlfriend's parents had lodged a complaint with the police against him.
I heard shouting and I ran there. They were beating him up. I opened the door and pushed inside, and then they verbally abused me and threw me out.
I heard my son shouting, but I could not go to him. I didn't have the strength. My elder son had seen it and brought him back. When he tried to go inside, they threw him out. We are in love. Everyone at home was against it. They did not let me be. So I was staying at my friend's house. Once I turned 16, I eloped with him. They came in civil attire and took him away in a three-wheeler. Our reporter says that the police refused to accept the complaint that had been made regarding the incident. Meanwhile, one person was killed in a motor accident which took place at an unguarded level crossing in Payagala.
The accident took place at an unguarded level crossing in St. Anthony's Mouth in Kalamulla, Payagala last evening when a three-wheeler travelling to Mathura was hit by the Sagarika train. The driver of the three-wheeler, who sustained serious injuries in the accident, died upon admission to the Nagoda hospital. The victim has been identified as a 52-year-old resident of the Kalathura North area. 6 passengers of an SLTV bus were injured when the driver of the bus lost control of the vehicle and toppled into the Unavasana coast at around 5:30 this morning. The police media unit said that the injured have been admitted to the Karapiti Teaching Hospital. A motor accident took place when a car veered off the road and crashed into a tree at the 3rd mile post area on the Giritale Bakimuna main road. According to our correspondent, 2 people, including a Buddhist monk in the vehicle, were injured. Two people were injured when a car plying from Sidua to Colombo was run over by a train at the Kuranan level crossing in Negombo. Our correspondent said that the injured have been admitted to the Negombo District General Hospital. A motor accident took place when a car and a lorry collided with each other on the Negombo-Colombo road in the Galkandia area in Negombo. No injuries were reported.
Fishermen in Irani village Shiloh drew in their biggest catch in a year yesterday. Fishermen say that the total catch in their nets weighed in at a whopping 60 tons. We leave you this afternoon with scenes from the Irani Villa beach captured by our reporter. I am Florin Rajendran.